There exists a kind of creature in the world. They have been discovered by a few people, but their existence has not been confirmed. We collectively refer to such creatures as unidentified mysterious animal, abbreviated as UMA. Hello everyone, welcome to the UMA series. Gentle and mild. This is the impression we usually have of most medium and small herbivores. But today's topic is quite the opposite. A creature with strange behavior and twisted appearance. Even a quadruped that poses a threat to humans. A legendary monster said to roam the Appalachian mountains. The not deer. Flying deer. Flying deer is a UMA I've been following closely lately. As the name suggests, it is usually described as resembling a moose or a white-tailed deer, but in certain physical structures, it differs from normal deer, appearing bizarre. Compared to ordinary deer, their limbs are longer and have more joint distortions. They can even walk onto legs. What's most terrifying is, its eyes are not on the sides of the head like deer, but facing forward, like primates and felines. Because of this strange appearance, along with its stiff movements and aggressive and human traits, it is often called the zombie deer. The story of the flying deer has gone viral on the internet in recent years. Many witnesses claim that in the mountains at night, they have seen its figure, despite the lack of evidence. Discussions and speculations about the flying deer have been continuously spreading. Now, let's first look at two videos. This video appeared on TK on July 8, 2021. So far, it's one of the most popular flying deer videos, filmed by Celia Nan, a blogger once known as Downabar. The video continues. This video was uploaded on March 17, 2022, by a blogger named Twilight Mall, focused on paranormal events. He has collected a large number of similar video submissions. Among them, many were about abnormal deer. From what I know, the term not deer first appeared on August 21, 2019 on the American site Tombola, a social media platform, by a blogger named Wells Wage, known as the Pink Witch, who replied on his homepage to an anonymous user's question. The content went like this. Anyone who has spent time in Appalachia knows about the flying deer. If you've ever been on the Blue Ridge Parkway at night, you may have seen it. In a way, it should be considered a kind of folkloric cryptid. Everyone's encounters with it differ, yet share some similarities. When driving in remote and densely forested areas, you may feel disoriented. In such a scene, seeing deer crossing the road or small animals flashing in the headlights is normal. And when you see a deer, you and your friends might exclaim, "Oh, a deer," then slow down to avoid hitting it. Soon, you can observe it more clearly and realize something is off. Its eyes don't look right. You can feel a heaviness in your stomach like a stone pressing down. The hairs on your neck stand on end, because you sense a kind of intelligence that shouldn't belong to it. Its movements are not like a deer, but more like, "Oh my God, what is that thing? Whatever it is, it's not a deer. We have to leave." You hit the gas and quickly escape the area. This was the earliest description of the flying deer. The blogger told the story in second-person perspective and mentioned below that several of his friends once got lost on the parkway, and upon returning, also told similar chilling stories. They were not the type to lie or exaggerate the truth. One of the drivers even claimed he saw a deer standing on two legs on the road. The post spread quickly after being published. More and more people began replying below, sharing their own similar experiences. For example, a blogger named Did You Notice wrote, 2 summers ago, in the Appalachians, only 2/3 of a mile from home, he heard rustling in the bushes while walking. He turned and looked over. He saw something about 30 feet away from him. A deer was standing there, just staring at him without moving. Because normally, wild deer run away as soon as they see people. This surprised the witness. Then the deer began to breathe rapidly and let out a deep growl. This blogger's exact words were, "I swear to God, that thing's eyes were completely blank, devoid of any spirit. It suddenly took a few steps forward, but its movements were very strange. I was startled. What on earth was happening? It stared at me while running to about 50 feet away. The feeling was extremely unsettling. I can't describe it in words. I knew for sure that thing was not an ordinary deer. I sprinted all the way home." Another netizen named Rutandrock said he had also seen something similar, but that creature's joints were more than those of a normal deer and bent the wrong way. The way they curved was very strange. He described it as a bizarre creature between a wolf and a deer. Meanwhile, in 2019, on Reddit's Appalachian subreddit, a post titled "Flying Deer Story" appeared, seeking the origin of the flying deer and more related information. The most famous reply appeared in 2020. A motorcycle enthusiast nicknamed Chris said he had lived in Waynesboro, Virginia, for 5 years. One late night, because of insomnia, he decided to ride alone into the closed Skyline Drive, heading toward the first overlook, about a mile from the national park. By the time he arrived, it was already 11 p.m. He suddenly felt engulfed by suffocating darkness and unease. Even the large caliber handgun he habitually carried did not give him enough security. After about 10 minutes, he suddenly felt the hairs on his neck stand up. As an Iraq War veteran, he sharply sensed the gaze of something filled with hatred staring at him. He felt the same anxiety as before battle. He sat in the darkness for another 10 minutes. That feeling grew stronger and stronger. Small noises began to come from the woods. Gris didn't hesitate anymore. He immediately jumped on his motorcycle to leave. But on his slow ride downhill, he encountered that massive deer-like creature. His exact words in the post were, "The phrase 'like a deer' was spot on, even extremely precise. It was like someone who had never seen a deer, drawing one only from another person's description. It stood on the left side of the road, before the headlights fully hit it. I had already seen its eyes. Its body was huge. Without a doubt the biggest deer I had ever seen. And it had no antlers, which meant it was a doe. Its head was like a cow's, but fixed onto a deer's body. Its legs seemed too long in proportion to its body, like stilts, and its chest was extremely broad. Its behavior was very unnatural. Gris tried using his motorcycle's lights, the roar of the engine, and the horn to scare it off. But the creature seemed to be born without fear. It didn't react even to human shouts. As Gris tried to move closer to the roadside to find something to drive it away, the deer-like creature suddenly stood up on its hind legs, and with a stiff and natural posture, took a few steps toward the middle of the road. Then, like a kangaroo, it hopped on its hind legs into the darkness on the other side of the road and vanished. Facing this terrifying scene, Gris panicked and jumped on his motorcycle to leave. But when he shone his headlights toward the direction where the creature disappeared, suddenly he discovered the head of that monster sticking out from the cliff edge of Tree Rock Eagle, just staring at him like that. Terrified, he quickly sped up and escaped from there. Since then, he never dared to enter alone at night again. On Skyline Drive, imagine an animal like a zombie standing right in front of you. What kind of feeling would that be? I think that might be the embodiment of fear. But what if this embodiment turned into a surging living flood? Recently, the game I've been playing, Life After, with its brand new version, successfully recreated this despair from the apocalypse. With countless hordes, 500 zombies attacking at once, this time fiercer and faster, maxing out the horror atmosphere. To resist the tide, you can use daily items around you creatively. To build traps, using rolling blades, washing machines, sharp fans, TV pendulums, scrap iron cutters, and more, to guard your safe house and survive the crisis. As time went on, Philo's story began spreading quickly on forums and some video websites, especially going viral on the short video platform TK, including the two works we mentioned at the beginning. Many people said that at some point, they had seen such strangely behaving deer. A large number of videos and personal accounts make it hard not to wonder if there really exists such bizarre creatures wandering the Appalachian region. According to American skeptic QGN, as early as 2014, on the US version of 4chan, there were already posts about strange creatures, where witnesses described them as strange beings with pointed ears and long slender noses, walking on all fours, in a way that resembled a newborn deer just learning to walk. Only it didn't look like a deer, but more like a patchwork deer-shaped toy, and enormous in size. For now, the most popular speculation about the deer sightings is that they may originate from certain animal diseases, such as chronic wasting disease in deer, also called zombie deer disease. CWD is a prion disease, a contagious spongiform encephalopathy that affects deer, similar to mad cow disease in cattle and scrappy in sheep. This fatal disease generally occurs in adult animals, beginning with difficulty moving and lack of energy, tremors, nervousness, repetitive pacing patterns, as well as excessive drooling and teeth grinding, even showing no fear of humans. CWD was first discovered in 1967 by a U.S. government research facility in Colorado in a group of mule deer, and later identified, but it wasn't until 1978 that it was officially defined as chronic wasting disease. Since then, it has been found in 33 U.S. states and 5 provinces of Canada in both captive and wild populations. Species infected include elk, moose, white-tailed deer, and mule deer. In recent years, the zombie deer reports in the U.S. have all originated from this disease. Besides CWD, HD epizootic hemorrhagic disease may also cause deer to act abnormally. This is a non-contact viral infectious disease found throughout the United States, mostly infecting white-tailed deer. Infected deer often show sudden lack of fear of humans, weakness, loss of appetite, excessive drooling, rapid pulse and breathing, skin shedding or fractures, along with fever symptoms. Some deer's heads and necks show swelling. Let's assume, if reports of sightings of the Namlu are true, then the two diseases mentioned above can relatively, reasonably explain the witnesses' descriptions, because ordinary people have never seen an infected deer. It could give witnesses a cognitive shock, further contributing to the creation of these reports with supernatural elements. Of course, this also led people to associate such supernatural with certain images from folklore. For example, the skinwalker, in Navajo belief, a witch capable of disguising itself as an animal form. This image almost became in North America a unifying theory for unidentified creatures. Any ominous animal could possibly be a skinwalker in disguise. Then there's the Wendigo, a troublesome figure in folklore, whose deer-headed image has gained popularity in recent years, also giving people a seemingly reasonable direction of speculation. But I still believe using the unknown to explain the unknown is clearly unreasonable. Investigator Kyujin believes that people habitually regard the Namlu as just a story, but given that many people have reported sightings of the flying deer, and that the locations are spread across the United States, he believes at least some people did indeed see something. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that some may have purely fabricated stories for entertainment or to deceive the public. Personally, I believe the biggest problem with the flying deer events is still the lack of authenticity. Almost all detailed sighting reports come from anonymous accounts. Investigator QGN once tried to contact some of the more well-known media creators. For example, the author of the first video, Donable, the reply he got was that it was just a deer. In his reserve live all sorts of deformed and injured deer. They had simply never appeared like that in an open space before. Many deer, because in the past, they had been harmed by hunters and angry people, habitually hid themselves. And the blogger Pinkwitch, the originator of the Namlu term, also in 2025, that is, this year on May 18th, admitted on his blog that he created the term note deer. His inspiration was based on stories he heard while living in the western mountains of North Carolina. He explained that the flying deer and witches had no relation whatsoever. In other words, its origin was based on second-hand or even third-hand information, or even fourth-hand accounts. How much exaggeration and distortion was involved is even harder to verify. So, I am more inclined to believe that the flying deer should belong to a kind of emerging urban legend because of its uniqueness and bizarre appearance. With a touch of horror in its stories, it has attracted people's attention. Of course, this is just my personal speculation. As for whether the Namlu, as a creature or a concept, actually exists, I think it's something time will have to prove. After all, even now every year, there are still a large number of flying deer stories and videos spreading across online media. Perhaps there really is a kind of dark-dwelling creature yet to be discovered by humans, or perhaps some special disease is spreading among deer in ways we cannot imagine. Who knows? Well, in the end, it still comes back to this. The unknown will always outweigh the known, and that is the charm of UMA letters. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching.